Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this wonderful edition of the Analytical Digest here in Callwave TV. I remain the host, Anchor Chigozie Ndibo. If today is your first time watching us, please thank you for doing so. Kindly hit the subscription button. If you have been a returning subscriber, thank you for being part of this great family. This is the place where you receive, of course, the latest news and unbiased reportage of events as it is hot. Bringing it, of course, live and direct has been a commitment and, of course, a pleasure. All the way, we are here once again to bring to your table your notice, of course, the reports from the candidates of the Labour Party, P2B, claiming that the refusal of INEC to furnish, of course, the legal counsel of the vital documents needed to prosecute this case of reclaiming what he claimed to be the stolen mandate is frustrating the efforts of the legal counsel and the Labour Party in general. Could this be an intentional, of course, action on the part of INEC after barely 3 months of the presidential pool? INEC is still, of course, giving or making excuses on reasons why he have not been able to furnish, of course, the legal counsels as they demanded for such sensitive documents to enable them file their claims and argue their case before the presidential electoral tribunal. Could this be a tactics, of course, playing the ostrich in order to avert and subvert the will of the people? Well, time will tell why and the reason why, of course, INEC should be playing that. They have made their submissions and given excuses, but that could not be substantiated because barely 3 months down the line, you should have done the needful before now. So if you have declared an election, that presupposes that you have the documents through which you compiled your, of course, declaration, and that shouldn't be a rocket science, of course, to make it available to the parties who has been demanding and have applied for such several months ago. And for us here, we are interested. Could it be the reason why INEC, of course, is objecting uh, to the broadcast or telecast of the presidential election tribunal from reaching the public so that the public will not get to know what exactly is playing out. But this has been a public interest that everyone will want to know, of course, what transpires in the presidential election tribunal. I think INEC owns a duty, a moral duty, a constitutional duty to do, of course, the needful before it is too late, because this is a matter of national concern. Everybody virtually is interested, including of course, the diasporans are willing to know what exactly becomes the outcome of this, and the transparency of this process must not be jeopardized or, of course, uh, toyed with, as the case might be. INEC should be held responsible, and they should defend, of course, their claim before the public and all are sundry on the occasion that, of course, necessitated the declaration of this uh, presidential outcome is a subject of litigation, and INEC must prove their case, or otherwise tell us that they did what they, of course, did because they betrayed the confidence of the people reposed on them, and that will not, of course, go down well with the people. Well, as the case is still a subject of litigation, and I believe that INEC should do the needful within the time frame as much as possible, so that, of course, the fireworks and the legal fireworks will continue and people will get to know what happens to their elections and their votes, as the case might be, following the recent unveiling and revelation made by of course, the Premium Times in Rivers State, Port Harcourt, where election, of course, results were manipulated in favor of the APC. And of the most recent is the BBC investigation, of course, inquiry that was made of recent, and the revelation was mind-blowing when, of course, the results of the purported election and the scores of P2B, the Labour Party, was swing, of course, to favor the APC presidential candidate. Well, this is issues, of course, and that should not be swept under the carpet in the interests of nationality, national unity, and of course, transparency. We await and to see what becomes of this. And that notwithstanding, we shall be looking at, of course, the controversial issues surrounding uh, the national chairman of the Labour Party. Of recent, it has been a subject of controversy, if I may say, and we shall look at the position of the constitution of the Labour Party regarding subject matters bordering on the removal and suspension, of course, of the principal officers of the Labour Party, and to clear the air, and of course, for purpose of intellectual discourse, we shall be referring to the Article 18 of the Labour Party Constitution, which of course stipulates and clearly defines the conditions under which the national chairman of the Labour Party could be removed or in the case of vacancy. Let me read the section of the Constitution. Quotes, the national chairman of the party may be suspended or removed from office on a vote of no confidence passed by at least two-thirds majority at the National Convention convened solely by him for such purpose, and for any other, of course, office holder. Any other officer of the party may be removed by two-thirds of the majority of vote cast by members of the National Executive Council or Congress of the state, local government, or World Executive Council, as the case might be, where a vacancy occurs in any office or offices of the party. The executive committee at the appropriate level shall elect another person from area or zone where the officers originated from, pending the conduct of election to fill the vacancy. I hope you understood the position of the Constitution regarding the removal and suspension of the national chairman of the Labour Party, according to the Memorandum of Understanding of an Article of Association of the party. It is well spelled out that unless, of course, at the National Convention, where the two-thirds of the National Convention, of course, participants can pass a vote of no confidence to remove the or suspend, of course, the national chairman. Otherwise, no other party or persons has the authority and the powers, of course, to remove the national chairman. And in the case of vacancy of the position of the national chairman, that the executive committees or national committees, of course, of the party will appoint someone based on the area and zone of the previous or incumbent, of course, or suspended or removed the national chairman. It must be zoned to the area or zone of the incumbent or outgoing national chairman in the case of vacancy or death. This, of course, presupposes that the Lamidi Apapa's argument is baseless and unfounded, and no one has confirmed such of course, leadership position on him based on the position of the constitution. I believe, as he claims to be part of the Labour Party member, he should be, of course, informed and acquainted with the provisions of the constitution as matters of course, importance as this case, rather than of constituting what I call to be nuisance as this case might be at this very important time. He should go back and, of course, go through the Constitution and the provisions of the Constitution. If actually, of course, the national chairman is found culpable, it is the function, of course, of the National Convention, which he will also call, and the third of the majority decisions on that National Convention will only unseat him or suspend him, and the next person will be appointed, of course, from his own zone or area. And Abuja hails from the south-south, and while the most controversial Apapa hails from the southwest. So there is great disparity and nothing in common they share as this matter, of course, is concerned. And I believe at this time you must have understood, of course, the true position of this matter.